Hi guys, Shopper back once again with another mint in box for TokuToyStore.com. And today we're going to be looking at Kamen Rider Woz for the Rider Kicks figure line. Now, Woz is a long time member of the show, but this particular Woz comes from a alternate future where Geiz manages to stop Zi-O on the day of Oma, I believe it's called. And that means this particular Woz is Geiz's right-hand man. Though this Woz seems to be able to alter time and hold his own, so why does he need Geiz? Frankly, I think he's up to something. And given that he's got a very digital wristwatchy, almost smartwatchy, I think is the vibe they're going for. So given that Zi-O is like analog, Geiz is digital, and Woz is like a smartwatch, he's probably like the next evolution, if you get what I mean. I don't quite get what I mean, but suffice to say, he probably thinks himself superior, but is manipulating Geiz, or will come to think of himself as superior and eventually become Oma Zi-O or vie for the position himself. Anyway, let's take a look at the box himself instead of theory crafting. As you can see, this figure is compatible with the rider armors, which is a nice touch. So I'm guessing like Shinobi, Quiz, is it Kikai is the next one? Like those three will be getting armors that he can interact with. I actually hope they get figures in and of themselves. Like Quiz especially could easily be redone in the RKF line because he's just an X-Aid suit in like build colours. He's so easy to redo. So that's enough of my rambling, so why don't we take a look at what's inside. Inside the box itself, you pretty much get just Woz as the figure and his signature weapon, which I'll come back to. But I don't know if it's really showing, but to my eyes, the silver of his suit comes off as like a dull greyish brown almost. I can't really explain it, but it doesn't look quite as good as it does through my viewfinder, but hey ho. His face is very nicely picked out. He's got the rings around his faceplate, which are like there's like the LCD things that spin around and create a display. The driver used the technology to do all the things that it did. But yeah, it's just a standard Zi-O body type. Like there's nothing especially unique about it. It's got the removable ride watches because, as I said before, it has like armor capabilities. The head is on a very nice ball joint. The chest has a very nice ab crunch. No swivel. Arms have a very good range of movement. His legs, similarly, a nice deep knee joint. And his feet are on ball joints. So yeah, it's a very standard RKF figure because it's going to be built upon by other rider armors, so it's very stock. I don't think it's got much working for it, but I'm sure people who love the design will probably get into it. I swear these are bigger on the suit as well. They don't move or anything. The Beyond Driver is just black, but it is kind of a mess in the show. But I do like its name, the Beyond Driver. And the Miride watches, it's on point. It's got good naming conventions. Just for comparison, because I thought it was pretty neat. As you can see when you put him next to his saviour, Geiz, Woz is a slightly thinner build. And he's even a touch taller. I don't just mean because of his antennae, I mean his head is a little bit taller. And considering that Geiz is kind of like the angry dwarf of the group, that makes a lot of sense. And Woz being naturally taller and slender, I like that that's kind of reflected in the suit. Though that could just be my mind playing tricks on me, but I do generally get a more streamlined aesthetic from him. Included with Kamen Rider Woz is the Zikan Despair, or Despair is the play on words they're going with. In its, it's a spear. If the one with the hook on it can be considered a cane, yeah, sure, let's call this a spear. And it's a pretty thick piece of plastic. Initially, I was very worried with how it would fit into Woz's hands, but I think they've been paying attention, because if you take a look at his hand, there's a little nubbin in there, and on his weapon, there's a little hole. So in much the same vein as the old 90s Power Ranger figures, Woz can get a very good grip on his weapon. Granted, it can be kind of knocked out, but it's going to have a lot more leverage staying in than, say, his ride watches, or like some weapons on other figures which just barely hold in. But yeah, it looks pretty good in hand. It's a very robust weapon that you could use all sorts with. I'm not kind of looking forward to just the remold of it being a scythe and then a cane, but if this is the only way we see it, that's perfectly fine for me. Overall, I do recommend Kamen Rider Woz, because he's going to be part of the line going forward in a major way. He has a lot of good cross compatibility, a lot of cross-play with the rider armors that have already been released. Plus, he's going to come with a whole bunch of exclusive ones for him, which maybe you can retrofit onto other riders. I don't know, but we'll see. And he's the third major rider that we've had, so he kind of fits in with the group. Whether he'll stick around and whether he'll become part of the team proper will remain to be seen. But yeah, he's a solid figure in his own right and will have tons of playability. So yeah, I can recommend him for the $24.99 price point you're going to be paying at tokutoystore.com. As always, I've been Sharpo. This has been the RKF Kamen Rider Woz. And I'll catch you guys next time on Mint in Box.